There are some black people that get on TV and they talk about, for or against President Obama and what he did and didn't do and all like that. That means absolutely nothing until the white supremacists say, now this is what I got to say about President Obama. Now it means something. What a black person says about another black person means absolutely nothing in the world of white supremacy. That's code. So you have to know how to handle that. And the best way to handle it, I have found from experience, is you simply say, well, he said what he said. If someone asked me right now, well, Mr. Carl Nelson came on the radio the other day, and he said such and such a thing, Fuller. And I mean, and you have sometimes talked to him or whatnot, and what do you have to say about what he said? And because I think that was a real stupid statement he made. Now, suppose somebody did that. If somebody would do that, I would go straight to VGQ. That's why I say we need a code. I would say he said what he said. That's my response. And if the follow-up question is, well, what do you think about what he said? I say the same thing. I think that he said what he said. In other words, if you got something to say about what he said, check with him. If something you don't like about it, tell him. Don't tell me, because my thoughts don't matter no way. Because I'm on the same slave ship that he's on. And it's just like two slaves arguing among themselves about whose chains rattle the most at night and keep us awake. Well, if the chains are rattling, because the boat is moving, you just got some rattling chains among a whole bunch of black people who are chained together, and he can't do nothing about none of them chains until Master comes down the ladder and says, your chains are disturbing my sleep. Now, that's when things change. But about the chains rattling and keeping all the other slaves awake, I mean, who cares about what the other slave says about it? One slave says, chains don't bother me. It sounds like music to my ears. And the other chains say, well, it bothers me. It keeps me awake. Neither one of them got any power. They're sitting there chained together. So that's why I invented a term called VGQ, Victims Guaranteed Qualification. You're qualified to say anything you want to about the victimization of black people. Why? Because you're a victim. You're an equal victim. All victims are equal. No such thing as big victims and little victims. It is victims. People at the bottom of the slave ship, regardless of their titles, there were some people on the slave ships who said, I was the head of the tribe. Well, look at you now. What are you the head of? Nothing. All right? So you can just keep, but you can say it. Nobody should prevent you from saying it. You can strut all up and down if you're free from the chains and for a few minutes to walk up and down among the other slaves at the bottom of the ship and say, I was the king of such and such. I was the king of the Zulus. I was the king of the Mandingos. I was this. I was that. Doesn't matter. And so nobody should get mad. Nobody should tell him to sit down and shut up and let him know he ain't king no more. Nobody should do that. Let him talk. He ain't hurt nobody. Except somebody might say, well, can you tell me about it in the morning, king? Because I'm trying to get some sleep now. That's it. We make a big to-do out of something we have no control over at all. And that is the definition of the N-word. Remember that, according to the code. That's one of the definitions of the N-word. Making a big to-do over something that you have no control over anyway.